Welcome to the Argentinian Philosopher, ideas made simple for everyday life. If I had to share just a handful of books that completely changed the way I see the world, these would be them. Today, I want to share my journey through philosophy, through the books that shaped not only my thinking, but my entire approach to life. Philosophy isn't just about abstract theories. These books gave me the framework for questioning, rethinking my assumptions, and understanding the world in a new way. Some of them challenged me, some inspired me, and some frustrated me beyond belief. But each of them left a mark on how I approach life. And what is amazing about great philosophical works is that they change not just individuals but civilizations, entire ways of thinking. These books span different time periods, cultures, and schools of thought, but they all have one thing in common. They make you think differently about the world and your place in it. Maybe some of these books will resonate with you. So, let's begin. I have to start with Plato's Republic. It was one of the first philosophical books I ever read, and it completely changed how I think about truth, society, and justice. One of the most famous parts is the Allegory of the cave, where Plato describes prisoners who only see shadows on a wall, believing them to be reality. One of the prisoners escapes, sees the real world, and realizes that everything he knew was an illusion. This hit me hard when I first read it. It made me question, how do I know if what I believe is actually true? How much of my own worldview comes from my own reasoning, and how much is just shadows on a wall? Reading Republic made me realize that questioning everything, especially the structures of society, is not just an intellectual exercise, but a necessity for real understanding. It also made me think about leadership and morality. What makes a ruler just? Is democracy really the best system, or does it have flaws that we overlook? Plato's work is over 2000 years old, but still deeply influences how we think about the world today. Kant's critique of pure reason is one of the toughest books I ever read, but also one of the most rewarding. It completely restructured how I thought about knowledge, perception, and reality itself. His core idea is that our minds don't just passively receive information from the world. We actually shape reality through the way we perceive it. What we see, hear, and understand is not objective reality, but a filtered version shaped by our cognitive structures. According to Kant, we can never know things as they are in themselves, only as they appear to us. At first, this idea frustrated me. I wanted to believe that we could access a pure, objective truth. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Kant forced me to reconsider the limits of human reason, what we can and cannot know. It's humbling, but it's also liberating, because it explains why different people see the world differently. It also connects to modern debates, like how AI and technology filters information for us, shaping our reality without us even noticing. Marx's Communist Manifesto. Regardless of where you stand politically, the Communist Manifesto is one of the greatest critiques of capitalism ever written. What struck me the most wasn't just its radical call to action, but its analysis of history itself. Marx introduces historical materialism, the idea that history isn't shaped by great leaders or ideas, but by economic systems and class struggles. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. Before reading Marx, I saw history mostly as a series of events: wars, discoveries, revolutions. But Marx forced me to ask, who benefits from these events? And who controls the wealth? Who gets left behind? His analysis of capitalism, where the bourgeoisie, the owner of production, continuously exploits the proletariat, the working class, changed not only how I viewed history, but also how I viewed modern society. Even if you don't agree with Marx's conclusions, his framework for analyzing power and economics is still relevant today. It made me reconsider how economic systems shape everything, from politics to culture, even personal choices. For example, think how much of our personal lives, our education, career paths, relationships, are influenced by economic forces we rarely even question. So whether you see capitalism as the best system or deeply flawed, Marx's critique forces you to think about its consequences in a new way. Reading Heidegger's Being and Time was like entering into another world. His idea that we are thrown into existence, that we came in a world without predetermined meaning, without any guidebook, completely changed how I thought about life. Heidegger argues that we don't simply exist. We are always engaged in the world, in projects, in relationships, in time itself. This means that we are not just passive observers of reality, we are active participants in shaping our existence. This realization can be liberating but also overwhelming, because it means that we are responsible for defining our own meaning. This book made me challenge my everyday assumptions about time, existence, and even my own identity. Heidegger forces us to face our own mortality not as something to fear, but as something that gives life urgency. When you realize that time is finite, your choices start to matter more. Do you spend your days meaningfully, or do you drift through life without thinking about what truly matters? Reading Heidegger made me more aware of the present moment, how I use my time, how I engage with people, and how I shape my own existence. It's a challenging book, but one that rewards deep reflection. If you ever felt stuck, disconnected, or unsure about your direction in life, Heidegger's philosophy can help you rethink what it means to be at all. Finally, I have to mention Schelling. His take on freedom goes beyond political or moral freedom. It's about the very structure of reality itself. His idea that necessity and freedom coexist is something I struggled with for years. Unlike many philosophers who see freedom as simply making choices, Schelling argues that true freedom is something deeper. It's about how we exist within larger powers of nature, reason, and history. We are not isolated beings making decisions in a vacuum. We are shaped by the world, and yet still have the power to create something new. What fascinated me the most about Schelling's philosophy is how he connects freedom with creativity, nature, and even the unknown. For him, freedom isn't just about doing whatever you want. It's about becoming something greater. It's about using your capabilities to overcome struggles, contradictions, and limitations in order to create meaning. This resonated deeply with me because it reframed how I saw obstacles in life. Instead of seeing limitations as things that hold us back, Schelling helped me to see them as part of the creative process of existence itself. It's a book that challenges you, but if you engage with it, It can transform the way you think about freedom, not just in politics, but in your own life. These are just 5 of the books that changed my life. But philosophy is also personal. Different books speak to different people in different ways. This is why I'd like to hear from you. Which philosophical works have made the biggest impact on your thinking? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss them. Maybe you were inspired by Nietzsche's Will to Power, or Foucault's Discipline and Punish made you rethink power structures. Maybe you found clarity in Stoic philosophy, or some other book changed your worldview in the least expected way. Whatever it is, let's start a conversation. And for now, I say to you thank you and goodbye.